Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk about something that is not talked about enough. And that is that feeling of sadness or lack of motivation, maybe even using the word depression, that follows a big race. Okay? These are called the post-run blues. That's a term coined by the running community, and I want to talk about how to deal with some of those heavy feelings following a race. So let's go ahead and dive on in. All right, you guys, so talking about post-race blues, let's dive on in into why it's so common. And I think the biggest thing is that these these hard feelings, these negative feelings can come after a really great race where you crushed all your goals and reached them and you felt like you did really well on this race, or it can come if you felt like you didn't perform your best or things on race day just didn't go your way or go as planned. It can really occur after both situations. And it's really because race day for most runners is such a big goal. It is something that we have trained for months, sometimes years for. And on race day, we have so many different emotions. We have adrenaline and cortisol and nerves and excitement and happy feelings and sad feelings. And you have to really dig deep into the deepest depths of yourself to complete some of these really challenging races. It is the ultimate test of will and power and mental toughness. And afterwards, you really can experience like a emotional hangover because you just put so much into this one day that having that just emotional exhaustion afterwards is completely understandable. Another case is that you have been training for this race for so long, for days and months. You have committed and put so much time and energy into training. So after the race, you might be kind of thinking like, okay, well, now what? What do I do to fill all of my time? What am I working on? How am I improving myself? You might have that feeling of, well, what now? Right? So there's so many different situations that can bring you into these feelings of the blues after a race. All right? So this can happen to anybody, whether you are a seasoned athlete or a professional athlete or an Olympian. Mental health is something that should be talked about and really focused on a little bit more, because it's not just following a training plan, doing a race, and then on to the next thing. There's a lot of emotion that goes into the process. You know, they all say running is a mental sport, right? There's actually a really great documentary on HBO called The Weight of Gold, and it really dives into mental health of Olympic athletes. Now, I'm not talking about Olympic athletes today. I'm really talking about the average runner, but this feeling really does affect all of us. So if you want to check out that documentary, I will put a link in the description of this video. But a lot of people, right? Something that's relatable is during the pandemic. I know I was really affected during the pandemic when my races were canceled and I didn't have any races on the calendar. It was really hard for me to still go out there and run every single day and train when I wasn't really training for anything. So I had a lot of those feelings of sadness, a lot of those heavy emotions. I dealt with a lot of lack of motivation because I didn't have a race on the calendar. I wasn't working towards anything at the time. So this really can affect so many different people in so many different ways. So how do we deal with it, right? how do we handle the situation? Well, one, the first thing is you can always talk about it. Talk about it to your friends, to your family, to fellow runners in the community, as well as talk to your doctor, talk to a therapist, talk to someone that can help. Okay? Talking about it is so much better than keeping it bottled up. And trust me, I know as an athlete, running is my outlet, right? When I'm having a good day or a bad day, running is my way of expressing my emotions. And after a race or after a training season, you're not running as frequently, you're running as much, you're running as often. So you lose a little bit of that outlet. So instead of keeping it bottled in, you do need to release those feelings and release those emotions. And sometimes talking to a professional really is the best way to go. But of course, if you feel like you're managing these feelings pretty well, some other things to understand is that after a big race, this is the time for your body to repair and recover. Our bodies are not meant to just go, 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 go. And yes, unlike an Olympic athlete who only can do the Olympics every 4 years, we have the opportunity now that the pandemic is we're on the other side of the worst part, right? Now that there are races on the calendar, we can start to look forward to what's next and we don't have to wait 4 years for it, right? So start to look at like the long-term plan, right? Don't just focus on, I can't run right now. Let your body repair and recover and focus on what your next goal is, right? The finish line is not the end of a journey. It's really the beginning of a new segment, right? It's the beginning of a new goal. Very rarely do I ever get to a start line. Do I ever toe a line of a race without already knowing what my next goal is? Why? Because I need that motivation. I need to have that long-term plan of this is what I'm working for. So that way, after your race, when you do need to take a little time off, when you do need to slow down a little bit, it's not so much of a, I can't do anything. It's, this is a part of the process. This is what my body needs so I can fully recover and get back to training so I can reach my next goal. I can run my next race. All right? Have an after race plan, right? I'm going to rest for X amount of days or X amount of weeks, or I'm going to explore yoga or swimming, or I'm going to take daily walks around my neighborhood. You know, movement that is low impact but still feels good for you and your body. Take the time to explore a different sport or, you know, explore yoga, explore something that'll slow you down just a little bit but still benefit your body. All right. Another thing to think about is for the average runners out there is that, especially if you are training for a long distance race, your body can't handle running long distance all year round. That is a big toll on the body. So think of your year in phases, right? What's the next phase for you? We have endurance, those long runs. We've got strength training and short speed work. You can focus on a different phase so you kind of avoid burnout in your body and you can have a new goal throughout the year. Sure, maybe you're not running a marathon, 2 months after you run your first, but maybe you could focus on strength training, or maybe you could focus on some shorter, faster runs or PRing your 5K. So you're working on challenging your body in a different way, but you're not going to be continuing to put stress and long mileage on your body, so it has a little bit of time to recover from those long runs. So start to think about your year in phases as well as what your next major run is. Okay, maybe you can have some little goals along the way. All right. But really, you guys, the big thing is that these feelings are normal. It's okay to talk about the heavier topics, right? We don't have to be super happy and peppy all the time. I know that I may show up and have a lot of energy, but these feelings are real. These feelings happen to everyone. And if you're feeling a little down after a big race, I want you to know that you are not alone and that you have an entire running community that is here to support you and cheer you on. So don't be afraid to start slow. If you've not been working out for a little while after your race and you want to get back into training, start slow. You can start with daily walks. You can start with just running from here to the mailbox. You can start by just running 2 to 3 times a week and ease yourself into it. Give yourself a little grace and know that the next big goal is just around the corner. All right, you guys, that's it for me today. I hope you guys have a wonderful day and I will talk to you guys very soon. Bye.